start inspecting my mirrors. They should be securely mounted, clean, not cracked, and adjusted to the driver. The door should open and close with no obstruction. The door hinges are not cracked or bent. The rubber seal is not ripped, and it's airtight. So I'll drop down here, my steps. I'm inspecting the steps. They should be securely mounted. No grease or oil, which could cause me to slip and fall. I'm inspecting my fuel tank. No cracks, no leaks, no illegal welds. I have my straps here, a rubber seal so that there's no metal to metal contact. Again, the cap is secure, it's tight. It does have a T-chain, and there's no leaks. I have a blinker here, turn indicator here. It's amber in color, it's clean, it's not cracked, it's working properly. The rest of my clearance lights here, I have two amber clearance lights, one red in the back. They're clean, they're not cracked, they're working properly. And my reflectors are not cracked, and they're clearly visible. Also, my DOT reflectors are clearly visible and in place. So I'll drop down here. I'll inspect my frame from bumper to bumper. It should not be bent, not cracked, no illegal welds, no illegal holes other than the manufacturer. The drive shaft is not bent, it's not cracked. I see no illegal welds. It's well greased at the U-joints on both ends. I'll start with my dual brake chambers on the rear. My dual brake chambers, the front is the service, the rear is the emergency. They're securely mounted, they're not cracked, they're not dented, there are no air leaks. The clamps around the chambers are secure, not cracked or bent. I have multiple hoses going into the dual chambers. There are no cuts, no chafing, no leaks. Hoses are securely fastened at both ends. I'm also inspecting my push rod on the back brakes. It's not bent, it's not cracked, and there's no more than 2 inches of play on the push rod when the brakes are applied. Slack adjuster, it's not cracked, it's not bent, and it's secured with its cotter pin. I'll go inside to the drum. There's no grease, there's no cracks, and there's no signs of bluing on the drums, which would indicate overheating. The brake lining should not have any grease, no cracks, and there should be a minimum of a 1/4 inch thickness on the lining. Okay, now I'll get into my suspension system back here. I would inspect my leaf springs to make sure there's none shifted, none missing, none cracked, none bent, no illegal welds. My U-bolts are securely mounted around the springs. They're not cracked, bent. And my walker beam on the bottom, walker beam is not bent, it's not cracked, there are no illegal welds. Also, my spring mounts, they're securely mounted to the frame, they're not cracked, they're not bent, and there are no illegal welds. On this truck, there are no shocks and there are no airbags. Okay, I'll come out to my tires. I'll do my ICD, inflation, condition, and depth. The inflation on this tire should be 105 PSI. I would inspect it with a tire gauge at the valve stem, and the valve stem should not be bent, cracked, or leaking. The condition of the tire, it's wearing evenly. There's no abrasions, bubbles, or cuts on the sidewalls, and the tread depth should be a minimum of 2/32 tread depth. Okay, there should be no debris between my dual tires of any kind. There are no spacers on these rims. I should have a nice tight bead here between the rim and the tire. The rim should not be bent, not cracked, no illegal welds. All my lug nuts are present. No shiny or rusty trails, which could indicate a loose lug nut. This is my axle seal. I would remove the cap, inspect the axle seal, make sure it's not cracked, it's not leaking, and there are no illegal welds on the axle seal. So I would come back here, I would inspect this axle, the back axle, the same way I inspected this axle here. Okay, so I'll come back to the back of my truck. I would inspect the door. This door swings up. Make sure that it opens and closes with no obstruction. All the door hinges are not cracked, they're not bent, and this door is in the locked position when the vehicle is in motion. My tail lights. My tail lights are red in color, the lenses are clean, they're not cracked, and they're working properly. These tail lights function as brake lights, four-way flashers, and turn signals. Again, they should all be working properly. I also have reflectors here on the bottom. They should be clean, not cracked, and working properly. All my DOT reflectors are clearly visible and they are in place. My splash guards, I would inspect them to make sure they're securely mounted to the truck. They're not ripped, torn. They don't interfere with my dual tires, and they're no higher than 8 inches off the ground when the vehicle's fully loaded. Oh, on the bottom. On the bottom here, I also have tail lights, red in color, clean, not cracked, working properly. Brake lights are working. Clearance lights here, 3 clearance lights, again, clean, not cracked, working properly. The exhaust system, yeah. The other side, I would go to the exhaust system and do no cracks, no leaks, no signs of any black soot on the exhaust system. Okay, all right.